What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of 1320 Stuff. I'm Pastor Darryl.
I'm Lindsey.
It's your boy RJ.
Welcome back to another week. We are coming fresh off of our last conversation about cancel culture, and we talked about whether we should cut Juicy Smoothie. Okay, I love that name, man.
Gosh.
That dude. Those of you that don't know, that is Jesse Smooth.
Jesse Smith.
You can't even say his name anymore.
Man. Dave Chappelle killed it. It's so we talked about canceling him. We talked about canceling R. Kelly. We had some strong opinions on him that still persist to this moment. And so we're looking at canceling the syrup lady. The syrup, what was it? Aunt Jemima, then it changed Uncle Ben's, all kind of stuff. And so thank y'all for tuning into that and all your opinions and all the things you poured into. Today, we want to dig into some fresh stuff. We have shifted some stuff because I know last time I told you guys we were going to talk about the isms. Do we cancel classism, racism, or sexism? But it appears that some sexiness has rose to the top in the last few weeks. I don't know if you call it sexiness. As we dive into this idea of Black love or love in relationships in general, we do so because of our wonderful friends, Will and Jada Smith. And they are our friends.
They are.
Because they have given us something to talk about other than COVID and Donald Trump.
That's
and
true.
I want to say, even in your pain, thank you. And so we want to jump into that. So, entanglement, which is the word of the day. Y'all thoughts on it? Like,
Yeah, that was an interesting one. I feel like I appreciated the perspective because I think that
wait, whose perspective?
just the perspective of like marriages. Sometimes I think that, I guess we know that people don't cheat, we know that people cheat, but I think that the like time apart, getting back together, I just think a lifelong commitment with someone.
They talked about they were apart.
Yeah. And I think we know, but I also feel like we always see women getting cheated on and women forgiving. And this was a different perspective.
I feel like you going down a street that says something like, good for you, Jada.
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it's good for anyone. Obviously, I honor the union of marriage, and I think you should be with the person that you decided to spend your life with. I also think that the truth behind marriage is that it's as difficult as life. And it isn't, people change, people's minds change. People are depressed, people go up, people go down. And to think that you can get into a marriage and it's just going to work at every turn. I think this was an example of it not.
Are they married, though? I mean, they keep changing what they call themselves.
Well, they can call themselves whatever. They got married. They're married.
They're legally married. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay. I'm just
Look,
curious.
here's my thing with the whole August entanglement thing. Apparently, this entanglement happened, 4 years ago? So how is it now that it comes out, he decides to do an interview and he puts it out, whether it's because he has an album coming out or not, to promote him, put him back into the limelight because clearly he don't have enough clout to do it himself. So he has to use the Smiths.
It's like a dig at August, but go ahead.
Oh, it's a dig. No. He's corny, for sure.
Well, he clearly has some mental health issues.
Oh, that's the daggone. That's okay.
But he does.
He does, which is fine. So Jada took him on as a pet project, and then in the interim, they...
Oh, it was like tutoring.
Oh, we all have mental problems.
It was a counseling
He was
session.
his counselor, his tutor, and then he made a
She
pass.
said, August, sit on the couch.
Regardless, whatever, they got entangled. They developed a relationship, but then to make it seem as if Will gave his blessing and all of this stuff, it just got kind of messy, if you ask me.
Man, I saw that stupid conversation at that little red table, and you can't convince me Will had any parts of anything to do with that? Because Will looked like he was in pain during the whole
It was more
conversation.
embarrassment, I think. He was more so embarrassed. Will knew of this.
Embarrassment is the same as pain.
No, because
It's
people are trying to,
discomfort.
because I think people are trying to make Will this victim of like he had no idea or he was just so hurt. I think that because Jada said she understood what August was trying to say when he said that Will gave his blessing. She said that he didn't, but he was clearly trying to make it very clear that he wasn't imposing on Will and Jada's relationship because they had very clearly stated that they were apart. Now, my opinion on August is he just looks like a lame, in my opinion. You know, mental health or not, you come out and let's like be for real, like keep it 100. That interview with Angela was like so dramatic. It was like when he was talking about it, like he had been destroyed and he had been broken. And then he comes back after the Will and Jada interview and he says, he wasn't taken advantage of. It was a mutual exchange. And then now it's lightening it up. Boy, why did you bring this up if you wasn't hurt?
Because he manic. He crazy. He got a mental health
Well, we
problem.
all crazy.
We all crazy to some degree.
Because listen, if I'm sleeping with somebody and then they on TV laughing with their spouse, like, yeah, it was an entanglement, kiki, and we high-fiving, yeah, I'm manic too. I'm about to go crazy. And I mean, like, we all can be crazy when you sleeping with somebody who's married. So that'll drive you crazy.
So two things make people crazy: death and sex.
So answer this: Who was wrong in this whole?
Who was
Jada,
wrong?
Who was wrong? So was Jada wrong for crossing that boundary with August? Was Will wrong for? Well, I don't think Will was wrong in any of this. Was August wrong for even just putting who was wrong? Is there any fault?
You can't really say who's wrong because no one knows but those three what happened during that time frame. For all we know, Will could be wrong because we don't know what happened. Like, Will could have set the whole thing up.
Well, that's not the way they made it seem.
No, I get that, but I'm just saying it's hard to say who's actually wrong. Based upon what we know and what's been shared, I would say Jada.
Well, okay. I think that Jada was, if we look at it from the perspective of Jada was helping him through an emotional time or some difficult time, then yeah, I mean, we could say that she took advantage to a degree. Yes.
To a degree?
Yeah. But now, let's be very, very, very clear, because people kept on trying to say, like, this was Jaden's friend. He was 24. He was 24.
How old is Jaden?
I don't know. It don't matter.
Because she felt that. She's like,
Yeah,
he's 24.
because they was trying to make it seem like he was a baby.
And like she took advantage of
a little kid.
instead.
They were like putting him with Jaden in an attempt to make it seem like
he was grown.
Now I will say, and I'm very honest generally, if Jada was a man and August
this be a whole different story.
Maybe I would think different. I don't know. Potentially.
Maybe.
I still would say she was 24. At 24, I was doing what the heck I wanted to do, and I wasn't being taken advantage of.
I say Jada is wrong in many respects. No different than in any relationships, however most relationships. I believe the elder, whether it's through maturity or age, is the one that is responsible for the guardrails of whatever the interaction is. So and clearly, whether August was 24 or 54, Jada mentally was more mature than he was. And so even though she's hurting, she said all the stuff she was going through and she was broken. And I thought it was really interesting, though, that she said, I hadn't felt good in so long.
Right.
I hadn't felt good in so long.
I've been miserable with you.
I was like, no, it made me think about Halle Berry in that movie, do something to make me feel good. She said that to August.
She told on it. She in that red table talk. She's like, I was broken. So you broken, but you trying to fix a broken young boy. Like, y'all broken together. Just say it was about sex.
But the truth of the matter, is that not most relationships?
Bingo.
Most relationships are the trade-off between two broken people trying to fix each other.
Absolutely, that was good.
It's tweetable, but it's true. That is the exchange, the trade-off in most relationships. It is, how do you make me feel better?
Yeah.
And if you make me feel better about myself well enough, then I want to invite you closer in. And you thinking the same thing. Does he make me feel better? and we just trade off. The problem becomes when those dysfunctions collide. And when our dysfunctions no longer are, helped by the other, but now they're enhanced. Now we got some problems.
Yeah.
We got,
and it's temporary.
It's temporary.
Where she was at was clearly temporary, which is why I say this all the time. Do not mess with married people. Married people are nuts. They're crazy and they be lying. It's
Don't you want to be married?
Yeah, but I'm gonna be crazy when I get there. It's like I married people. You could talk to them, and this week you'll talk to your married friend, and she'll be like, I am sick of him. I am so sick of him. I don't even say his name. And then the next week, they'll be renewing their vows and having another baby. You cannot get entangled with married people.
Well, that's why it's called entangled problem.
Because what happens is those two married people end up sitting at a table laughing together and you off looking
but
dumb.
I think the other thing, too, that's every relationship. You have...
So is it Jada's fault or is it August's fault? Because
it ain't August's fault.
As a grown man, you got involved with a married woman. They were separated, but they were together.
But
they were still married.
Sometimes you go into these entanglements not really expecting much to come out of it, but possibly
Or
sex.
you go into them.
Yeah, you go in.
I feel like an entanglement means I tripped or I got trapped.
Yeah, I do think it is. I do think it's a complicated...
That's why Will corrected her real quick, because he was like, entanglement,
right,
Jada? Entanglement?
I think it was an entanglement.
I think they got connected, and maybe there was she was really trying to help him or thought she could help, but then there were some feelings involved, and it turned into a relationship. And that's
Has anybody ever been in an entanglement?
In my 20s. My whole 20s was an entanglement. Man down.
Is that why you in Sacramento?
Oh, yeah. You had to leave. You got to leave the whole East Coast. No, I went to Chicago, the whole East Coast. Got to dip from the East Coast. I think everybody's been in one at some point in your life. That's why it resonated. Everybody's like, that's a good word for it. Yeah. That's exactly what we...
But it's a real word. And everybody was acting like she was trying to evade the question. But when you looked up the word entanglement, it was exactly what they were in. A complicated relationship, usually romantic.
It's an actual thing. Mm-hmm. So Jada was prepared.
Yeah. It looked like she was trying to evade, but she explained it perfectly.
That means Jada has thought this thing through.
Oh, for sure.
She's like, let me
she knew
explain
she was coming to the red table.
What I done did. Google. Hey Siri, what is me and August in? So you are in an entanglement.
So what do you think about marriages and those breaks? Like, is there really a break when you're married? Like, can you actually take a break when you're married to somebody?
So, okay.
What did Will and Jada do?
Apparently, when he said something, he said that, I was done with you. I was so ready. So apparently she did something to the point
prior
where he was ready to be completely done. And they decided to separate. Get yourself together. And during that time, that's when her and August took off. So, I don't know.
Can you really is there a real break?
I think it depends on the people. And because it's the thing, marriage, relationships, everything is as unique as the two people in it. It almost becomes impossible. And even as a pastor, you sit and people go to prayer and counseling and they do all these conversations and people read these books. And you get to a point you almost want to say, no one can prepare you for this because no one is you and no one is the person you're marrying. So you two are totally unique and all that comes with you is totally unique. You got to figure that out in the fire. So is there a real separate? Will you actually be separate? I don't know. I think especially people with kids. I don't know how you can do that with kids. Because somebody got to talk about junior soccer practice. Somebody got to get little Becky Ann to clarinet rehearsal.
Becky Ann.
Yeah, I just threw that out there. I don't know what these kids call these.
I don't think you can have a break. I feel like you need to be divorced if you're going to find yourself in relationships with new people. Or if you're the other person. I'm not messing with you if you're still married, because as long as you're still married, there is a chance that somebody can say, you know what, I really want to work it out.
even when you're divorced, there's a chance somebody.
Yeah, but now
I
that's
know
more
6
that.
couples that got remarried after they divorced each other.
Married people are crazy.
People are crazy.
My statement stands.
People are well. Sex make people crazy. Sex and death make people crazy.
Well,
and I think August, somebody. No man, that's a whole nother thing.
So, okay, so you talk about separation. How do you really work on the issues if you're separated? Like I go move into an apartment, you stay in a house, we're separate, we're living our individual lives. I might meet somebody, start going to lunch. I'm feeling good. You might meet somebody.
Why are you out here meeting people? Go to work and go home.
Because I'm focused.
The heck you out here trying to meet people
I'm
for?
not trying to. I'm just nice.
Oh, now they is coming up to
I was at Starbucks to get some coffee, and she was sitting there, and I just paid for her coffee, and we started.
Why'd you pay for the coffee?
I mean, I didn't mean to.
Oh, how you accidentally pay for coffee?
I was being nice.
Cancel.
Bro, you'd exec yourself a quick call.
Nevertheless. because I'm not married, haven't been married, it's hard to say what married couples should do. So
I feel like you can take a break if you decide that you. I feel like sometimes a break is good because when you get married, I think you get entangled with one another, which in a way is good because you're bringing your lives together. But I'm a firm believer that you still have to have your own life. And sometimes that break brings you back to who you are. You remember things that you love outside of that person, outside of that family,
Let
those
me ask
kids.
I know a couple who they were married 10 years. And were like, this is not gonna work. They separated with plans to divorce. Separated. Got 2 separate places, all that stuff. Got on the same track, same page. Turned out basically they both just needed their own space. So they're still married, happily married, all kind of stuff, but they live in 2 separate places. They go on dates, they travel together, but when they come home from work, they go into 2 different places. Could you do that?
In theory, I think that I could because I really like being alone. I always say, like, if I got married, I want to have 2 bedrooms. But in reality, I'm very, like, you belong to me. I don't know if I would be...
Dude, you just did the crazy ass when you said that. You were like...
And I ain't
prepared for marriage.
I said that
Great.
fully prepared. No, I think that...
So it's a trust thing for you.
I don't even know if it's a trust thing or if it might be a level of insecurity, like a fear that you could be at the coffee shop. And I guess you could do that when you're living with somebody.
And accidentally
buy somebody coffee and now all of a sudden you guys want to get lunch. Yeah, right. So I feel like that would be hard for me. I think
so. If your guy comes home and he says, babe, I got entangled today. But he's saying he bought somebody coffee.
Oh,
but no. But you don't know that. He just says he got entangled. What do you think he did?
He had sex. That's what I'm thinking.
Entanglement is pure sex.
Yeah, that's what I think.
So
what do you think? What is it? What is an entanglement?
I never heard the word until Jada used it. So
I think it's a sexual relationship with someone.
That's what I think.
What is the purest relationship? A relationship with no sex or a relationship with sex?
A relationship with sex.
You studied it that way. He was like, I sex.
Wait, what do you mean by pure?
Pure, healthy, that puts people in a space where they can be completely them and vulnerable. Does sex enhance that or take from it? Because Jada surely felt like August did something.
I've seen the pictures of August too.
What?
But
you seen pictures of August?
That's probably off the deacon list of things we can discuss.
You say there's a picture of him? Of his private?
It has stuff. I mean, he had stuff on, but you could kind of tell. But what was you saying? Pure as in?
So is that what Jada meant when she said she ain't felt good in a long time?
Ain't no telling.
That's why Will was about to cry. Now y'all know Will was about to cry for like 5 seconds. I think that's why.
I don't know. Can we insert a photo?
No. I don't want no fold 13.
Anyway,
they're like, that's what the stuff means.
I would say go ahead. Do you have an answer to
No, don't bail her out. Don't bail her out of this August picture.
I think that if you have two adults that are free to be in relationship with one another, I don't think that you can use that with a Jada and August because there were other things muddled in there. I think if you have two healthy, to a degree, healthy people who are together, I think that sex enhances the relationship, definitely. Because I feel like I look at sex as more of like a communication with someone that you are in deep relationship with. So I think it enhances it. However, it is a very powerful tool that should not be, in my opinion, be used casually, where people do it casually all the time. But I think that's how you end up in entanglements and you have issues because it can really mess your head up if you're not in the right place and with the right person.
Let me shift really quick. So I made a comment earlier about not being married, and I already know the comments gonna come and the people gonna start asking questions. So I'm gonna just address it right now.
Let me sip.
Oh, let me sip too.
Wait, maybe I need a sip too. Oh no, I'm shaking.
Oh, we're finna get some real tea.
Do the quiver lip.
No. So okay, I said I'm not married or whatever and all this crap, and so I know they're looking like, well, why the ring? I have a ring on. So I wear jewelry. It's not. What? No, hear me out. What I've learned though, since wearing this ring, I got the ring off Amazon. It's a silicone ring. I like it. But what I've noticed since wearing it, it attracts more women. It attracts married women because they're trying to get in an entanglement. Maybe they're trying to see if I'm in a position where I'm not happy. If you're not happy, I'm not happy. Let's be not happy together. And then we go back to our miserable lives. And so that has happened quite a bit, and I'm not even making that up. And I mean, we've seen it in TV shows. And
I think every man that is either married or worn a ring can attest to that. I mean, because I'm not a consistent ring wearing person, but you wear the ring, everybody's like, hey.
That is so weird.
Well, I guess it is weird, but I think we're used to it. I mean, most of my married friends told me, like, bro, put a ring on, women come at you. And they do. It's really weird.
That is a serious dysfunction. Like, I would love to understand. I mean, I guess it's what you said. Like, is it married women generally, or just
is it a mental
single
thing for
women
to see a man with a ring and say he's married, so he must be a good guy?
So I'm going to come and get you to cheat. Now you're no longer a good guy. Get out of here.
I think the deeper thing you have to consider is that most human beings, women maybe more in particular, not all women, we ain't got to the sexism episode, so don't look at me like that, are okay with some of a person as opposed to none of anyone.
Interesting.
So if I got 20% of you, it's better than having 0% of nobody.
That's a mental illness.
That's a mental illness, but not August?
Yeah, him too. But clearly, he had that mental illness. He was cool with getting some of Jada, even though he knew he wasn't getting it all.
I think August thought he was going to get all of Jada.
There's no way he thought that. He's an absolute... Like, he isn't even... Will Smith... And I mean, even if Will Smith...
But that's the point. It's Will Smith, and you still hit his wife.
Yeah, you hit
I
it,
shouldn't
and you
be
getting
able to
laughed
get
at.
Jada.
And you getting laughed at.
It gives you some.
But my point is, I shouldn't be able to get Jada. If I can get
She's
Jada...
human.
She is human, but she shouldn't be that close to human.
He
married to
got
Will.
20% of her. Yeah, cool.
That ain't cool for me.
Right,
But I'm
it
just
was
saying
cool
that's
for him.
I think that's why
that makes
the rings
sense,
work.
though. I mean, that makes sense. And I do think, I know people, and I've...
Ask RJ, do you ever take them out?
Oh, the women that come up to you for the ring?
Because of ring? Dude, that one's priceless. Do you ever take them out?
See, my focus is on the Lord, and I'm just trying to. What?
Oh my God!
You okay?
No, she about to die because you over here about to kill us all when the ceiling fall in on our head.
I mean, with the straight face.
Listen,
with a straight face.
I'm single, so if I go out and hang out, I make it what it. But you know something I've learned since turning 40 though is just be honest about what it is you want going into a
So
situation.
do you say I'm not actually married, or do you just let that sit there?
Yeah, no. If asked, I'll let it be known. But again, it's to me it's just a ring. But when I tell you it's gotten so much attention, and then there are some married folks who's questioned me about it, like almost like it's a slap in the face to them, like because we wear this as a sign of our love and loyalty to our spouse, and you just freely out here with a ring.
Okay,
It's
you're
just
so
a way.
Okay, that's just
sensitive.
extra. That's
Okay.
just extra. Take your, what's that, Rush Hour? Take your sensitivity to that.
What would you guys consider, like, is there a such thing as relationship goals, like marriage goals? Like, what makes a good marriage, or is there a blueprint for it? I guess you said there isn't.
I don't think it is, because it depends on those two people. Because what works for one don't work for others. So people talk even to the degree of saying, I just stuttered all the way through that one.
You got it.
Yes.
Relation.
You can get checks for that. That's a disability.
Well, Moses had one too. He
Come
wrote that
on,
prayer.
Doc.
You said checks for that?
You can get a check.
August probably get a check.
Hey, you know what?
That's why Jada was like, boy, you stutter good. We all the way off. So, y'all sorry. What was we talking about?
Relationship goals.
But even saying one couple can have relationship goals, that doesn't mean the next one needs to have relationship goals. Because if you have two people who are perfectly compatible in their unscheduledness of who they are, they don't schedule, they just do whatever. They would kill themselves trying to have some kind of relationship goals because Dr. So-and-so and Bishop so-and-so got something. That's just crazy. I don't think you can have that kind of blueprint. And that's what sends people off. It is this competitive, comparison kind of mindset that we need to match so-and-so. I mean, 2-3 months ago, a whole bunch of people wanted to be Kanye and Kim. We want to be them now. Well, I still kind of want their money, but
Nah,
I don't
they
want
can have all of that. That whole house.
I'll take them. Now I don't want the museum house, but I'll take the money.
No, I'm saying the house that is their
And
relationship.
I don't want them kids either. Them kids are-
So let me ask this question, and I hope it's not too bad.
Just asking.
What about those couples that, and I won't ask you, would you do this, but what about those couples that are married or in relationships that decide to bring in other people, like, have a little fun here and there.
So sin before God. They going to hell.
But it keeps their sex life lively.
Keeps your sex life lively, but your soul dying.
Wow, you are really silly right now.
But it works for people. Could you be in a relationship with somebody and they say, hey babe, look, I'm want to have a little, spice it up, let's have a little fun, one time thing, blah blah blah. Is that something you could do? Could you?
No, because you got to be careful, and I think, like, I'm super spiritual and not like in the religious sense, but I think that, like, you have to be careful about what you open yourself up to, what you allow in your life, in your house, in your bed, And I would be, if I were to do that and then I turned around and you found out that he was still doing something with that person or she was still doing something with the other person, I mean, I would obviously be upset, but to some degree, I would feel like I should have never opened that door, or I never should have allowed that, And obviously you could say whatever because I'm not married, and, sometimes I can't even fathom the idea of, like, literally looking at the same person every day forever. So, yeah, I can imagine it being like year 15 and you like, you know what? Remember what I said?
Like, it's about that. It's about that time.
Actually.
I think people learn to navigate that. You learn to adjust to those ebbs and flows of life. And even a marriage is not if you go about your regular life, you don't really, unless you are just two homebodies that have nothing to do, it's not like you're just going to be sitting there like, hey. It's just at some point you're moving about life. I do think, in response to your question, though, it is extremely dangerous. And this is just regular Darryl talking. This is not even a pastoral kind of thing. It's extremely dangerous to invite another party in, because sex, no matter what your religious belief, no matter what you consider it, it opens a person on a level that most kind of things just don't do. And so now, even if you do that, I mean, be honest, like, just bro, as a man, like, as a man, you're like, oh yeah, my girl, my wife, and, so-and-so, this girl, that sound cool when you like 20, 22, something like that. But when you get grown, That's a. I don't know how Solomon manages all them. That's too many. That's too many to.
So
to
look,
juggle and deal with.
so I know time is running out on this episode, but I wanted to tell y'all something. I didn't get your take on it. So I got friends, that's been married and going through it and talking about divorce and things like that. And some of them have even gotten divorced. But what is your thoughts on those couples that say we're not gonna get divorced, we're gonna stay together for the kids, for the sake of the kids? Me personally, I think that's the coward way out. Like, if you're not happy and you're not happy and y'all know it, y'all have had conversations about it, you put in the work to try to fix it and it's not fixable, then part ways. But I think you're doing more damage to the kids by saying, I'm staying for the kids, when you're not, because you're doing nothing but raising damaged individuals who are going to grow up to be damaged adults, who's going to be in a damaged marriage. And all the while you're thinking you're helping them, you're really doing more harm than good. So, and that's my take, because I see a lot of people making excuses as to why they're staying in these so-called toxic marriages and or relationships, and they blaming it on the kids. And I don't think it's fair.
I think, well, I wouldn't say it's the coward way out, because I think that to sacrifice your happiness with the thought of wanting to have a whole home for your kid, I think that's very difficult. Now, I think it's misplaced, because kids are extremely perceptive. They know when you're not happy. They know, and if you're not happy, then I personally don't think you can be the best parent to your kid. Like, coming home and dreading coming home because of the person that you're married to, your kid doesn't get the best of you, because you're already in a space of lack or unhappiness. And so even when you try to put on a smile, your kid knows when it's authentic. So I think that we do more damage in staying married. Like, my mom and dad broke up when I was young. My dad was a fool. And I think, like, it was better that I didn't grow up in the house with him, because if I were to witness him at his worst with her at her worst, because they were at their worst as a couple, I would have had a different mom. I would have seen a different dad. So for them to go their separate ways, do whatever they need to do to be happy. When I was with dad, I got to see the best him, a happy him. And when I was with mom, it's not ideal, but I definitely think that's the better way than to just stay for the kids.
Yeah, I agree with Lindsey, because you ultimately do more damage, and it's hard because I don't think none of us have kids, but listening a lot of times to people who have those conversations, they have elevated the kids to this place on a pedestal that they become everything, and so it's like, well, let's do this for them. But essentially, these kids are watching y'all depressed. They watching y'all cuss each other out. They watching y'all do all this stuff. And like she said, you grow up and you've gotten the worst years of your mom, the worst years of your dad. And so, everybody got their own thing, man. I try not to,
And those kids grow up and they leave. And then you've spent 18, 21 years faking a happiness or faking a marriage with these kids, and they go off and live their life, and now you're 50 or however old you are, now trying to start over. And now these grown kids have to be like, my mama and daddy getting divorced at 20. I'm pissed because I've lived this life with this. You know what I mean? So I always say, like, having kids, like, you love your kids. They're little people. They grow up to have their own lives. And to make your entire life to revolve around these kids, I think it's a bad move. You have to still have your life as an individual, because, baby, my mama, she made me the center of her world, and I be gone. She like, you coming? You need to come see your mom. I'll be like, girl, I'm about to, and that's just life. So I think you have to prioritize yourself.
We need to have that conversation and have some parents in on that, because right now everybody watching is like, but they ain't got no kids.
Ain't got a look saying anything.
Saying anything. You gonna say that when you got some kids.
Well, we still know what's best for y'all.
Oprah told y'all all kind of stuff, and Oprah, is Oprah in an entanglement?
No, they together though.
I'm talking about with Gail.
And you know what? X that out, because don't play. Gail and Oprah are. Women can't just have, like, y'all see, men don't be understanding having a friend like that. I have a friend like Gail and Oprah. We are best friends. That relationship is unmatched. Like there is
You
nothing.
there's no man that will match that relationship.
No.
But you
Because-
said sex enhances it.
Yeah, that kind of relationship, but a romantic relationship creates other issues because I think you're overly sensitive, and it's like something that my best friend would say and something that my man would say. It's like, now wait a minute, why you
But
know?
why can't your man be so much of a friend that your response to him is not overly sensitive like it would not be to your friend?
I think they're two different relationships and it's two different types of love. I think that having a best friend who is just like, I believe in soulmates, and I think that I have a soulmate and it's my best friend. I think that we communicate well, we understand one another well, like we can go months without talking. It's not like these requirements. Like I can't be in a love relationship with somebody and go 2 months without talking. That's not the way that they're built.
But can you not have that same level of friendship?
No.
Why?
Because you're with them every day.
What is this everyday thing?
They see the best of you. They see the worst of you. Like when I'm in a bad mood.
So hold on. So is your friendship a genuine one if your friend is not experiencing all of your best and all of your worst?
I mean, she experiences it and she knows it, but it's not on a consistent basis where you can't get any time away. I just think they're different relationships. And so I think that Oprah and Gail, for what we see.
What is the value of it if you cannot handle me and my totality?
I think you can handle it. I just think that it creates.
If I got 2-3 months off from you, I ain't got to handle it.
You don't, I mean, but why would you don't live with your best friend? Like they don't see you when you wake up.
My question is, would not, and I'm not saying this should be, but I've heard people argue this, that whole, marry your best friend. Could you not have the same quality of friendship with your boo to where he can say whatever, you say whatever, and don't nobody get sensitive?
No, I don't think so. I think that you can have a great friendship with your boo. But I also think that there are aspects of a romantic relationship that make them more difficult. That's why people say marriage is so hard, because this person that you're married to is literally a mirror for yourself. Like they see you all the time when you are your best, when you're upset, when you're emotional and all of that stuff. And so they get to see that stuff. And because they have to experience it, they usually are the person that points it out. They are your mirror.
Would not your best friend do the same?
To a degree, yes, but she's still gonna go home. When your husband goes home, it's with you.
Not if you got 2 separate places like them.
Okay, well
that'd be kind of
we
cool.
can do that too.
Can you? You can't because you just said you don't trust nobody.
Right, no, because you're going home with me. And that's that.
Because he might be buying coffee at the coffee
and
shop.
we don't play that. So I feel like me growing up, there's always levels of relationship, right? So there's like talking, dating, courting if you're religious.
I forgot about talking. She said courting if you're religious.
I mean, what is courting? Like, what is the difference between courting and dating?
Ain't in the Bible. Courting is something we done made.
Courting is like
it's
dating with a purpose.
That's a church.
What's the question?
What are the different stages of relationships for you guys? Is talking?
No. What is talking? I don't even know what talking is.
Talking. You text them, hey, how you doing? Good morning.
Yeah.
Did you sleep well? Like, yeah, I don't know.
Oh, you do a lot. You do. That's like an interview.
No,
Did you sleep well?
Like talking. We talk.
I think you could talk to a lot of people.
When you say we're talking, that means I'm not committed to you. So I'm not obligated to just only talk to you. I can go talk to 2 or 3 different individuals.
So that's not even a level, because that's everybody.
I think I'm getting
that's
to know
the first
you.
stage.
So, yeah, that's, I guess.
Okay,
that's
first
stage. I'm
stage.
getting to
right.
Know you. But does that turn into a friendship? Because I think we skip the friend level. We go right from talking to dating.
No. You go right from talking to sex.
That's true.
And then you define.
Then you decide if this is somebody I'm gonna date. Because if the sex
and typically.
Wait.
Are we lying? That is what people go from talking, they mess around and get intimate, and then they want to define what it is.
That's probably true.
And typically the woman is like, we together
I don't
now.
do that.
And the man is like, we still figuring this out.
Right. No, this was just
See, that's why you can't do that. Because I feel like you can't give too much too soon.
You can't, because you can't get it back. And so many times you have people who want to renegotiate the terms after you done signed the contract. That's not how this works. You didn't agree to these terms, whether it was expressly stated or not. You agreed that you was entangling yourself with me when we laid up in that bed, did whatever we did, now ain't the time to try to tell me what we are. You should have had that conversation, okay, before the lights went out. Anyway.
It's true. I agree with that. I feel like...
Well, we agree.
Yeah, I do think... I think that you have to... I feel like going out with somebody and having sex right away, I think you've passed so many steps and it's hard to backtrack. It's like once you cross that threshold, it's like
emotions. Unless you just heartless, and it's just a thing for you.
But even if you're heartless, that's an emotion. It came from somewhere, so it's residue from something else that you pouring on somebody else. Now you got to sit here and figure out what's wrong with you because Tony hurt your feelings when you were 19. That's just stupid. I don't feel like figuring out who was Tony. I didn't even met Tony.
Well, we all have that baggage, and I think.
All do?
Everybody has baggage. Everybody brings baggage into relationships. And so black love, any kind of love, is just two people that have experienced a bunch of things and coming together and trying to figure it out together. So, I mean, to bring it all together, I feel like you made a great point in that love and relationships is just two people deciding and making their own rules, and like there is no blueprint. So guys, you let us know, what do you think black love is? What do you feel about the different levels of relationships? What is it? DM us.
Yes.
On Instagram,
if
Facebook.
you're in entanglement, say entanglement and at your entanglement partner.
Okay.
No, just wait. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that at all.
Please don't, because I think that'll probably end the entanglement. But that's probably good as well. But thank y'all for tuning in. We appreciate you guys. Please give us your feedback. Let us know what you think. If you have kids, if you have some thoughts on raising kids separately, co-parenting, deciding to stay together for the kids, we would love to hear your feedback, potentially have more conversations with people that actually have kids so we can get more of a perspective. But tune in, stay with us next week, message us, follow us, like us, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Thanks.
Peace.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's RJ. Thanks again for tuning in to this episode of 1320 Stuff. Listen, we talked about black love today. We talked about a number of topics. There was some seriousness and I cracked quite a few jokes. But listen, love is a beautiful thing, and I absolutely believe in the power of love. One thing that I've learned is that to make any relationship work, all you need is trust and honesty. And if you can do those two things, your relationship can last. And listen, there's no real blueprint for relationship goals or the perfect couple. Individuals have to do what works best for them. And so you have to do what works to find your happiness, and your partner has to find their happiness, and together you can have a lifelong relationship of happiness. Now, when it comes down to settling and things of that nature, or staying together for the kids, I'm not a huge fan of that or proponent of that, because I think individuals have to live their best lives and be happy. And so I encourage you all to do that. Continue to love and cherish and honor one another. And again, if you're in any level of entanglement, relationship, friendship, whatever it is, just be honest and say how you feel up front. And I mean, if there's anybody out there that's trying to get entangled, I'm on Instagram, RJ Carter 22. No, I'm joking. I'm kidding. Please don't do that. It was all a joke. But listen, I truly believe in the power of love. Again, thanks again for tuning in to this episode of 1320 Stuff. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe to all of our social media outlets, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We appreciate you all, and we love you. Peace.